Hi, my name is Isabella, and my presentation will explain what a star cluster is, how they are formed, and the different types of star clusters. Star clusters are groups of hundreds of millions of stars held together by gravity, all orbiting a common center of mass. These clusters provide essential information to astronomers, like the formation and evolution of galaxies, and insight into stellar evolution, which is the process of a star's life cycle through its lifetime, and how it can lead to the creation of a new star. Astronomers can use stellar evolution to provide knowledge about the star's age and compositions. These star clusters are some of the oldest in the universe. Star clusters form out of gas and dust called molecular clouds, according to Aaron M. Geller, an astronomer at Northwestern University. The densest area of those molecular clouds collapse into themselves to form stars. If there are enough stars formed close together, they may remain gravitationally bound and live as a star cluster, according to Geller. There are two types of star clusters: open clusters and globular clusters. Globular clusters are tightly packed groups of stars that remain gravitationally bound for billions of years. They also contain some of the oldest stars in the galaxy, as they were formed in the early days of the universe, around 10 billion years ago, according to research, making them some of the oldest stars. They are metal poor. After all, they are so old that they lack the elements because they were not created yet and would be created later by supernovas. Supernovas are what happens to a star when it reaches the end of its life and explodes in a brilliant burst of light. Globular clusters have little gas and dust left and can no longer produce new stars. Astronomers have discovered approximately 150 globular clusters in the Milky Way galaxy, according to research. One of the most famous globular clusters include Omega Centauri, the largest known globular cluster in our galaxy, per NASA, and M13, one of the brightest. Open clusters are relatively young, and the stars are loosely bound that they eventually drift apart due to gravitational interactions with other stars and gas clouds. Open clusters do not have a distinct shape and contain just hundreds or thousands of stars, making them far less dense than globular clusters. Open clusters are also much younger, with the oldest being about 1 billion years old, according to research. All star clusters lose stars over time in a process called evaporation, according to Geller, where stars migrate away from the group when pulled by another object. Open clusters could also lose stars when the star is orbiting around the star cluster. They come too close together. Often during a close gravitational encounter, for instance, one involving 3 stars, one star would be ejected from the encounter at a large velocity. If that velocity is large enough, the star will leave the cluster entirely. According to Geller, open clusters have more than 1,000 stars, according to NASA, though only a handful of its brightest are visible to the naked eye. The most famous open cluster is the Pleiades, also known as M45 or the Seven Sisters. Other well-known open clusters include the Hyades, which is the closest open cluster to Earth, and the double cluster, which comprises 2 side-by-side clusters.